Bang bang! We are back with another episode of NAHU Live. I got one guy with me tonight, just one. His name happens to be Mike Probozzi. I'm Rod Elms Jr. Welcome. We've got a bunch, and I mean a bunch, of stakes races this weekend. Starting out, we're actually going to do a pick four tonight at Mohawk. So if you're playing tonight, make sure you jump in on that. Mike is our local expert over there at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Say hi to the people, Mike.
What's up?
I said say hi, not what's up.
I say what's up. You say hi, I say what's up.
Anyway, since Mike screwed everything up already, we're going to go ahead and go right to Mohawk.
Well, tell them what we're doing. We got Mohawk, we got
Mohawk.
we got Hambo and elims.
If you let me do it, I might tell people. But
well, you were transitioning poorly.
No, we are going to Mohawk first, and then we're gonna go over to the Meadowlands for tomorrow. Hambletonian eliminations are tomorrow night, tomorrow night. Next weekend is afternoon for the Hambletonian finals, which we will be live for almost all day. And we actually do have some special guests next week, some interviews. Ray's jumping in. He's going to be doing all kinds of interviews for us throughout the week. And we're also going to have the live drawing for the Ushuaia handicapping contest to pick the exacta contest for next weekend. And whoever correctly picks that off of their Facebook page will automatically get into the drawing for whatever race they choose. I do believe it's going to be the Hambletonian final, but whatever race they choose, it's going to be, if you pick that exacta correctly, you'll be put into the drawing. We're going to do the drawing live at 6:45 p.m. next Saturday right here, so you definitely don't want to miss that. I already got my Hambo hat on, so I'm in the spirit. How about you, Mike?
I got my Aces hat on.
Mike has
we also have next weekend. We also have the semifinals of the NAHU handicapping contest. So we're getting that put together for everybody, and the people that qualified throughout these past couple months. They're going to be live to see who gets in that final. It's all sponsored by Bow River Jewelry. So we'll be contacting those people this week at NAHU handicapping contest next weekend also.
Yeah, it's going to be a big day overall for us. We've got all kinds of special guests coming on, like I mentioned, all kinds of interviews. And most importantly, stakes races. You get to watch them right here all day long. So with that being said, we are going to do the Mohawk late pick four for tonight, talk about those eliminations for the Hambletonian tomorrow night at the Meadowlands, and also tomorrow at Running Aces, jackpot pick 5, 20-cent minimum bet, roughly $15,000, I believe, in the carryover money for this. So that pool is getting up there, and it's growing steadily every single race day. So if you happen to be lucky enough to take that down, get that bomber in there, I believe it was either Sunday or Tuesday, I paid 4 out of 5 for a 20-center because it was there was 2 bombs that got in there. It almost paid the jackpot, just missed though. Luckily, it's still carrying over, so we get another chance at it tomorrow. They start at 2 p.m.
That is a chance to go down tomorrow, too, I believe, just looking at it.
Yeah, it's a pretty good sequence. But before we get to Running Aces, we're going to talk some Mohawk. Late pick 4 starts in race 8. Tonight, race number 8. Field of 9. It's Ontario Sire Stakes Gold. So we're already jumping in on the stakes races. This is 2-year-old fillies. Purse of $73,000 and change on the trot. Mike, you are the Mohawk expert here. What do you see? Are you going chalk, or are you trying to beat the chalks?
Well, there's a huge scratch in the race to start out. Okay, it's a 7, it's out. So that really changes the race because I was going to key that horse in this race. You Will Be Queen was looking excellent in her first 2 starts. She was dominant, both one off the pace, one on the pace. She is not in the race now, which makes it a lot more wide open. Your favorite's going to be the 3, Fox Valley Lisa, who broke before the start last time, and even money for Bayerjon. And it did win a gold at Georgia, and you do have to use this horse, especially from an inside post, but is definitely not safe here. And I think that now with the favorite being out of the race, you can go a little deeper. I do like the 4 Up and Ready. You get McNair here. This horse raced very well second time out in the gold at Georgia from off the pace, made up over 10 lengths in that race with McNair driving. Big track now, decent post. McNair sticks, a definite use for me. And then the 5, Pixie's Lady. This one is McClure, raced in that same, actually raced in the Fox Valley Lisa Gold at Georgia, and was okay. I mean, showed speed, made a move on the turn, and then got a little tired late. This horse kicked very well in the big track on July 3rd in a qualifier, kicked 27 and 3. Obvious talent. You get McClure now. Another use for me. So I'm 3, 4, 5 to start.
Without going into too much depth, I'm basically doing the exact same thing that Mike's doing. I'm 3, 4, 5 there. That's what it looks like with the scratch of the 7. I don't think anybody else really is going to upset in that race. It's possible, but I just don't see it. Not yet, not this early in the season. So I'll take the ones with the lines that have a little bit of
2-year-old trotters, though.
Yeah,
so,
that is a good point. 2-year-old trotters, anything can happen.
Right.
But leg number 2 is affiliate mare numbers at 26,000 last 5 starts. Also eligible, blah, blah, blah. Purse 26,000 on the pace field. The 10 here, the 10 does trail at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Mike, give us some older horses. What do you like?
Poor Dave, it's a very good race. A lot of these horses are dropping out of preferred. These are some of the better mares around there. I liked Sunny D last time, and she raced a lot better. She's improving here. This horse won 13 times last year. Draws inside, showed speed versus the preferred types, and should be up close again. I think this horse has a definite chance to win. My top pick is the 4 C Swift Joy. This horse was racing in stakes races all of last year. Loves this racetrack, and finally righted the ship last time at a lower level. Well, this horse has no class issue whatsoever. Has a better post now, and is a major player. I would expect this horse, even though 5-1 morning line is going to be at least I would think 2-1. So the 5 also better be done. I popped the preferred here at 48-1, 2 back, and then last time had the 8 hole, had minimal chance, and still rallied to get a check. This horse is a total grinder and just finds a way to get in there almost every week. I do like this horse at a price, and I think will be ignored again. So, and then the 10 Sylph Hanover. I've always liked this horse. Was very good back on June 27th in a preferred, and then had a tough trip. Then won on a drop. This horse drops again, draws inside, loses McNair, but Fillion's about as hot as anything right now. He's driving extremely well, and this is another price that can upset with a trip. So I've won 4, 5, 10.
We aren't too far off there. I'm very close to you. Used one different horse. I am using the 1 Sunny D. I think this horse is very obvious from the inside with the early speed. Going to go to the lead or look for the 2 hole. Probably going to get the 2 hole based on the speed that's outside of her. But, fits well here. Should be right up close again. The 4 C Swift Joy. Another that's going to take money regardless. Was large last week against cheaper, but 3rd start back or 4th start back really. This horse just makes sense here and is not going to be 5-1 like you see in that morning line. The 5 better be Donna. It's Aussie Yellow and Drury. They seem to show up. This is a slight class drop. They show up often, and this horse comes off a good race. Was 12 back at the half last week. Got beat 2 lengths. Big time effort there. I love the horse's form. A win 2 starts back. She's excellent right now. She's going to get a good trip here, so I think is a definite play. And then the 8 Sweet Lucy Lou. I use you get the driver change to Rob Shepard. Meg Crone trains. This is a nice mare, and she was a little bit flat last time, but you can't really call it flat because the mile was 49 and change. She was up close, got a decent trip, just didn't finish the mile real well. I think the slight drop in class will help, and this is the race that could possibly get hairy early on with some early speed. So if it does, I think this horse will be coming late. Just has to work out the right trip and needs the right setup. but don't take a short price on this horse. I'm 1, 4, 5, and 8 there. On to leg number 3, which is race number 10. Filly and Mare, now winners at 2 or 44,000 a lifetime, $17,000 purse on the pace. Field of 9. I'll start this one off. I'm 3 deep. Inside, Layla Blue, the 1. Chris Christoforou jumps on for Jody this week. Inside post is going to help because this horse does have a lot of speed. Last week was in the second tier, got away in the back and just kind of sat back there. This is a softer spot, dropping from the non-winners of 4 to the non-winners of 2. With that drop and the inside post, I think this is just the right spot for this horse. The 2, Postmodernism, Bob McClure stays on. No early speed to speak of here. I mean, this horse is always way back early, but can really haul home late. The inside post, I think, is going to be the key because we know this horse is probably going to get away 6th, 7th, 8th, or 9th. But how far back is this horse early on? That's going to be the key because I just don't see a lot of early speed here. So if she can stay close early, she's got a big chance, and she's going to be decent value anyway. And then the 7, Tua Pekka Jesse. This one's very obvious off a win, a dominating win last time on the ship up to Mohawk for Tony Montini. Makes a ton of sense here. Could easily repeat after that 2-move win, and is going to be a very short price. So I'm 1, 2, and 7.
Agree on 2 and 7. I think they're really the only 2 that have a chance to win. The 7 was an easy winner last time off the ship, and really had no danger late. It was a quick mile. The only really, chance this horse of getting beat is if the 2 improves back to her previous form, which if you look back on January 23rd, this horse kicked home 26 and 2 in a 54-2 mile. At that time, that was a really fast race. She's now 4th back and, was better last time, was flying late, was completely stone cold locked in and absolutely had nowhere to go. So I think it's one of those 2. I think either the 7 dominates again or the 2 gets a good enough trip to catch her late. So I'm 2-7.
And moving on to the final leg that Mike is going to start for us. This is the Filly and Mare numbers of 3,000 last 5. Also eligible, a bunch of other stuff. Purse 12,000 on the pace. Full field of 10 here. It's the final race of the night. Close it out for us, Mike.
Well, so my ticket got a little hijacked here because I was, initially going to go all in the race because I was keying the 7 in the first leg. I'm going to stick with all here just because I think this ticket has a big chance to pay decently. It does make the ticket big for 20 cents, and I understand that. So, but it's an extremely difficult race. My top pick in the race is the 10, Badam Vicky, who won 10 times last year. Drops back to the numbers of 3,000 last 5. Draws inside. Wall sticks. That was a much better race. Like that race last week was one that July 24th was won by a dropper there. So Long Darling, this Dragon Rocks, all much better than horses in here. And, all this horse needs is a trip. So, but hard to trust. The 7 Bid for a Hug, another dropper that doesn't really win all that much. It's 5 for 69 lifetime. There's a lot of horses in here off form. The pace is very uncertain. So, my thought would be if you can get a live to all of them in here, you have a chance at a giant score. So, that's my opinion.
I tend to agree with you. This is a very, very tough race. But at the same time, I can't afford to go all here because I'm a little bit deeper early on. But I am going 4 deep. The 3, and I'm taking prices as well. The 3, Giggle Hanover. Last week,
I don't mind that horse.
Yeah, this horse is 3rd start back off the layoff. Doesn't really win a lot, but makes sense in this spot. Draws well again. Is going to be the right price and just has to get the right trip. Needs to kind of stay covered up until halfway down the stretch, and if that happens, this horse should be coming late. I do like this horse's chances as long as she gets a trip at a big price. The 4, Kiwi Focus. Trevor Henry drives this week. You get the driver change for a pretty good barn. I mean, the barn's doing well right now. Last week just had no chance. Way too far back. Only got beat 3 lengths. Raced very well. And I think the driver change is key. And when she starts getting into form, she can be very, very salty, especially against this cheaper bunch. The 7, Bid for a Hug. Another one, the draw doesn't help her chances, but she does make sense in this spot. This is a very cheap spot, dropping back down. She was second at this level, 2 starts back, and then had to jump up in class and just didn't fire last week. But, needs some things to happen, but does make sense here. Not much for winning, only 5 for 69 lifetime, but has made over $100,000. And then, like Mike mentioned, the 10, Bedham Vicky. This is another one. Second tier start, I think, is going to help with this horse. Stay covered up, stay close. You get the class drop again, and really just, if anything, you're only playing Moreau and Louis Waugh in this spot. I like the horse's chances. Free-legged pacer, by the way, which is pretty rare. So I'm 4 deep there, 3, 4, 7, and 10, which makes my ticket go as follows: 3, 4, 5 with 1, 4, 5, 8 with 1, 2, 7 with 3, 4, 7, 10. It's $28.80 for 20 cents. Mike, give us your ticket.
Bigger ticket here: 3, 4, 5 with 1, 4, 5, 10 with 2, 7 with all. It's 48. If you wanted to, cut it back a little bit, there's, you could take out a few horses in leg 2. So just, I favor the 1 and 4 in there. If you want to cut it in half, do a little trimming in leg 2.
Well, I don't know how much trimming you can do in leg 2, but because I think that race is very tough.
Did you hear me? We're out at Meadowlands after one of the most brutally driven races you will see.
Oh, great.
So, 17 to 1 won the race. So, because Dave Miller is smarter than most.
Yippee.
Yes.
But anyways, Mike, guess what?
What?
We've got Hamiltonian eliminations tomorrow night at
Nice.
the Meadowlands. And this is a very good betting card. I didn't get to look at all the races, real close yet, but this is, from what I was looking at, this is really good. You got full fields most of the night. You got some preps for some stake races next week, especially like the Hamiltonian Oaks. There's just a 3-year-old filly race. We know Verlin Yoder's going to have one in there in the Oaks next week with Reba Blue Chip, which I love this horse, actually. I think this horse is legit, and she fits with that filly group very well, especially since Ramona Hill decided to go in against the boys. What'd you think of that move, by the way?
I mean, I don't mind it because I think that there's no real dominant horse, and she just went 50 and 3. So, she's faster than most of these. And I personally think that she only has one horse to beat.
Which one?
We're
going to get to it. We're going to get to it. Don't say it. But anyway, let's start talking about these races. And Mike, we'll go to you first. Let's go to the Tompkins Gears for 3-year-old Colts and Geldings on the pace. $84,000 and change on the line here. Full field of 10. And these are the best 3-year-olds on earth right here. Who do you like? Are you going against Tall Dark Stranger?
I mean, I think that's pretty tough to do. I mean, he was fantastic in the pace. He beat a horse, Poppy Rob Hanover, who came back and just went 47 at the Meadows. So, of course, he went so fast that he hurt himself. That's how good he was. The post hurts, and I'm sure that this isn't necessarily the goal here. So, we'll see. I mean, intent is always a thing, and I think that has to be considered. So, if not him, then it has to be the 4 Alleywag. Hanover raced extremely well in the pace, also from off the pace. Couldn't catch the top 2, but was right there at the wire with them. Draws better, can do it either way. He can sit in one punch here, and I don't mind him either. I mean, it's not that creative. I don't think you're going to make a ton of money in the race, but unless you want to bet the 4 to win.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you in that race. It's one of those races. Tall Dark Stranger's been so good this year. It's hard to go against him, but you got a few options here because there is some early speed, and if they go hard with Tall Dark Stranger, I mean that really can mess things up here. Just because he's a speed horse, he's going to be going. We know he's going. The only issue is who else is going to go. So um, I do.
I don't think he's going to go much faster than 53 and 2 like he did, on Taste Night. So there's
No,
that.
no, but at the same time, there's a bunch of horses that show early speed in this race. So
Right.
I tend to agree with you. Allywag Hanover would be a win bet for me at the right price. I mean, I'm not betting her or betting him at 2-1. I'll take.
And if you can get 4-1,
Yes.
but at that point you're going to pretty much think the 10's going to be 2-5 in the race, and then it gets more interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to get quite what you want, though. I mean, that's the problem.
And
Unless
another one that you don't want to leave out in this race is Captain Kirk. He kind of threw in a clunker in the Meadowlands Pace final, but this horse is legit, and if he's right, he's going to be right there, and he's going to be the right price too.
I mean, the horse has obvious talent. It's just, that 1 for 12 is very glaring. Yes, he's fast, but, he's run into some nice ones. I just feel like that he needs to put it all together a little bit here, and this doesn't really necessarily have to be the spot that happens.
Yeah. Moving on past what's probably going to be a 1-5 favorite win. First elimination of the the Hambletonian. This is race number 6 on the card. Field of 8. I think this is the cream of the crop here for this division, and with horses like Back of the Neck, who's won 2 straight, he's on top of his game right now. And that last win with Scotty Z, I mean, Scotty was just sitting chilly. He could have went much faster. Amigo Volo is in here. Third Shift. I mean, you can go up and down this list and make a case for almost every single horse in this race, including the 5 whose name I can't pronounce. But anything can win this race, and I think this is probably the best betting race on the entire card, because if you can hit this super, I know a lot of you don't, or there's not even a super in this race. If you can hit the try, it's $1 minimum try at the Meadowlands. I think you're going to get paid, because there's going to be so many different combinations here that could possibly get there. If you get the right one, I think you're getting a nice chunk of change. And you got some horses coming into really, really sneaky good form right now. I don't see anybody to throw out here. I'm actually going to go with the 4 Big Oil, who raced pretty well last week. He did get beat by Back of the Neck, but I think the situation is going to be a little bit different. Andy's going to go harder off the car, in my opinion. They're going to back it down a little bit more in that second quarter. Ramona Hill's probably going to go. Beads is going to go. And Beads is a really, really nice horse too. Don't toss that one out from post-8 with Jimmy Takter driving. Third Shift is going to go. Amigo Volo is going to go. I think Andy goes, and he goes really hard early, and then he's going to back it down. And I think he's going to get the nice 2-hole ride here, because Back of the Neck is not really that type of horse to just go to the lead. You know what I mean? And the rail's not going to benefit him that much. So I think Andy goes hard out of there, gets a 2-hole trip, and he's going to be a big price. I'm going to take him as the upset play there.
Yeah, I just don't like him at all. If anything, he would be my first pitch in the race. I just don't. His only chance is to get a trip in the race, because he's not going to be anywhere near the 2-hole here, especially with horses like the 2 with Alki, who sends everything. The 3 is a stone cold front end horse. The 7 likes to leave and does her best work when she's up front. Beads is a wild card, and that horse really can't be rated, and was unable to be rated at Woodbine last year. The horse really doesn't want to sit in a hole ever, and basically runs off constantly. Is he fast? Yes, of course he's fast, but he can cause problems in this race. I think the race is a stone cold setup for the 1 once again. They're going to be flying up front early. He can kick the sub 27. A lot of these horses haven't shown that ability, so I think that it's a stone cold setup for him, and he's going to crush this field. I just think that everything favors him. He's got the best kick. He's got the best form right now. And, my only thought would be is if Ramona Hill gets away and it's just faster. But, this horse was 8-1 last time. And, yes, she's fast. She's good. She doesn't lose very much. But this is a whole new kettle of fish here. I really like the one. I just think that horse is the best thing all night. I really do.
I'm going 4 and 5 for my prices in the race. That's what I'm gonna.
I can see the 5 because I like the fact that the 5 can close and it's a massive front end. I like the 5 a hell of a lot more than I like the 4.
I just think the 4 is gonna get the right trip.
Okay. He's gonna be 40-1.
Yeah, I'll take it. Fine with me. Moving on, race number 7. This is another Tompkins Gears for 3-year-old filly pacers, field of 10. And Mike, you got a few different options betting wise in this race. It seems like the inside and maybe one outside horse are the main contenders.
I like the 10 a little here. Baby, you're the best. This horse was racing well, and really had no chance in that, July 18th race, but still kicked. Look at that, 24 and 4. You don't see that very often here. And I realized that, the horse was 7th in the race, but that is a massive final quarter. That shows a lot of talent. This horse can sit in this race and kind of sit off the speed and unleash that kick. Because when the money's on the line, these horses are going to be flying early. You have a lot of speed in the race. The 1, the 2, the 3 is capable of going. The 6 has shown speed in the past. So I feel like that this horse's kick is what intrigues me. It comes out of fast races, and you're going to get a little bit of a price in the race. So the 10 for me in the race.
I'm not really on the 10 that much, just because of the post. The post bothers me, and that's really the only factor that I threw in there. But a horse that I really, really like that had no chance last time, the 5, Peaky Sneaky. And we know that these tactor horses are ready to go on these big days. And Peaky Sneaky last week didn't really leave hard, then got shuffled off a slow 3/4, had no chance to win. They came home in 26. This horse come home in 25 and 1. And we see every single week this horse kicks home in 26 or 25 and change. I love the form. I think Dexter's going to have this horse out in clear sailing, and this is going to be my best value bet of the entire day, or entire night, tomorrow night at the Meadowlands. I'm going with the 5, Peaky Sneaky there.
I don't mind that pick at all.
Race number 8, the second Hambletonian elimination for $50,000 purse. Field of 9 here. First elimination had 8. This one's got 9. Mike, are you going with the one that Yannick took off of, Sister Sledge? He chose Ready for Money over Sister Sledge, being off Lasix now, and that's a Burke horse. Or are you going somewhere else?
Well, there is a Woodbine horse in this race, and it's brought to you by the guys. Well, at least the trainer that won the Hambo last year, and that's 352. And I think that horse has a chance. Ran into Pemberton last time. This horse ran early in that race, but that horse is as good as anything right now up at Woodbine in those gold races. The race 2 back was solid. You're going to get a massive price here. It's just a matter of getting the horse stay flat. And I'm always partial to these kind of Woodbine horses here. I understand the 8, but that's a lightly raced horse. It was 4 for 8 last year, 1 for 1 this year. Obviously pointing to this, 51 and 4 last time. It's hard to ignore that. Post is bad. It's hard to know how this horse will react off that race. So, and really the money's not on the line until next week anyway. So, what's the intent? We always talk about it. What's the intent? The intent is to make the final, really. So, would I be surprised if the horse, kind of took it easy for this race and just saved a little for next week? Not a bit. That's why I'm more interested in a horse like the 5, who's going to be ignored largely here off a couple of those lines and could sneak in and really maybe surprise them.
I'm going with a little bit of value here again. The 3, Julatrix Treasure. 2 back, went a really big mile in the Reynolds, and had plenty of excuse to lose that race. and was like 8-1 or something with Yannick driving, and went in 51 in a piece. Won very handily. Was good. I mean, really good. Popped 3 deep. Was wide coming off the last turn. I just love this spot.
And 51-2. That was a huge race. But look, last week then, coming off that race,
sat the rail though.
Reacted a little there.
Sat the rail.
She just took it easy.
Yeah. Okay is driving again, and we know what he does. He's going. This horse doesn't have a ton of gate speed, but can get off the car enough to most likely make a first over brush down the backside. I think that's the move that OK is going to make in this race, and you're going to get the right price on this horse. There's no value to be had in Ready for Money or Sister Sledge, in my opinion. Sister Sledge is off Lasix, which is a big factor, in my opinion.
And Yannick's off, too.
And Yannick's off.
Could have very easily sat on this horse. This horse made $500,000 last year.
Yeah, I mean, that was a tough choice for Yannick to go one or the other there. But he chose the outside horse, which you can't blame him. But at the same time, I'm not keen on either one of them, but they both make sense. I'm going against them, trying to look for a little bit of value in Jula Trick's Treasure with OK Sponstedt. The rest of the card, there's a field of 12 in the next race with some open pacers. You're going to love that race betting wise. The Miss Versatility. Miss Versatility Trot, Mare Open Trot. I mean, that's going to be another good one. Lots of preview races for next week for the big day on Saturday, August, whatever next Saturday is. But guess what? We got a pick 5 to talk about now, and we're going to talk about it at Running Aces for tomorrow afternoon. Again, they start in the afternoon, 1 p.m. Central.
2 p.m. Eastern.
Yes, 2 Eastern. Sorry, I'm pulling my program up here. It messed me up. This pick 5 starts in race number 5 tomorrow. 20-cent minimum. Bunch of carryover money, near $15,000. And started off with a field of 7. You got a 6-5 morning line here. Are you going to go against him for the hottest barn in the country?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, you're betting this ticket. You're looking to hit the jackpot. And that's really the point of this, So if you start out with a 3 to 5, that makes it extremely difficult.
No jackpot.
Accomplish that. So I do think that it is possible, if this horse does get beat, for you to be more likely to hit the jackpot because you're going to eliminate 95% of the tickets. And really the only horse I think that can beat the 7 is the 6, who's capable of big efforts, won 10 times last year, has been running second to the horse so far. This horse needs to get pushed a little bit. The horse needs to have a bad day. There's a lot of things that need to happen for the 6 to beat the 7. But I think if you're looking to bet the jackpot, then it is wise to double the ticket here and go 6-7.
I tend to agree with you here. As much as I don't want to double the ticket, I think you have to if you want this jackpot. Bunker Hill Phil is definitely good enough. He beat It's a Mark's World 3 starts ago. So, it could always happen, and It's a Mark's World is going to be 1 to 5 again. There's no reason not to try to go against him in this pick 5 sequence. It's a jackpot. I mean, that's if you're playing the bet, it's because you want the jackpot. So, Saturday's a good day to go after it too, by the way. So I'm going to go 6-7 there. I don't see anything else that can really win the race. So 6-7, I think is where I'll be at. Race number 6. This is now there's a 2,000 last 4 field of 9. They do go 9 across at Running Aces, and this is a race I think you can actually spread a little bit to try to make some money. I'm wondering if you're on the same page, Mike.
Absolutely, spreading here. If you're going to get value, this is a race to do it. I'm 5 deep here. I'm going to use the inside 3 and the outside 2. So the one Mark 10, 27 race well last time, draws well again, and it's just missing at the level. Tends to get a lot more shares than wins, but could trip out and probably will be likely used in multi-race tickets. The two Buzz Light's obvious, crushed last time, numbers of 8,500. This horse is more like a numbers of 3,000 to 4,000 type horse. That was just basically a public, training mile. This is tougher though, and tends to come from off the pace and could lend itself to trouble. The 3 Wild again gets a better post now, has been rallying, which really hasn't been the place to be if you have been watching the races. So I'm interested, especially if the track does change a little. The 8 Swagasaurus Rex always in play here. It's getting a bit long in the tooth, but finds a way to make money all the time. Has already won 3 races this year, and anytime you got Longo, you got a chance. And then the 9, Price here, I think. Cowboys Dirty Boots stepped up last time off of a marginal effort. Gets a driver change. And I thought, this horse got some early calls last time. Was outside a long way. Won 9 times last year. Likes the racetrack. If you were watching, what was it, last Saturday, the pick 5 started with an 80 to 1 shot. So this horse is not impossible in this race. I'm going to use him 1, 2, 3, 8, 9.
We're not too far apart here. I love the inside horses. They all make a ton of sense. Mark 1027, I use him every single week. He's always close. He stays close. Doesn't matter what kind of trip he gets. Buzz Light, he's kind of the same way. Last week he had a huge class drop and just kind of run off from everybody. It was a really weak race to be in, and he just crushed them. Wild again, another one that makes sense. He gets huge post relief. He gets a class drop. That 10 to 12,000 claimer he was in last time is probably one of the toughest races on the grounds at Running Aces. And he was right there at the wire. I bet him last week. He just didn't get the right trip. He was too far back off a slow half and just couldn't get there. Raced really well though, and he's definitely a bet back, especially on the class drop. And then I'm going to use another one that you didn't use, the 6, Dependleberry. Second start back off the layoff. We know this horse can get around a smaller track. He makes sense here. He's going to get a nice trip. He just needs a little bit of early pace to be chasing. I don't know how much he's going to get, but we know that when he does get the right setup, he is very close. And I think he's the price in here. If you're trying to hit the jackpot, take a shot on him. If you can feasibly do it, hit the all button in this race, because this race just begs for an upset. So that's kind of where I'm going. 1, 2, 3, and 6. Race number 7 is the Open Handicap. Post positions 1 through 4 drawn, and then the 5 looks like it was assigned, and then 6 through 9 was drawn. With Stucky Dote, he's a real diamond. Who 9? Between those 3, can you go with anybody else?
I like those 3. I agree with those 3. They have a little more recency than some of these others, but I will throw the 1 on just because.
Taking the entry.
Yeah, the 1 Prologue's 1-3 straight at that upper level claimer that you said. Those are some of the toughest races on the grounds. Tons of speed. Now, ends up in the 6 hole here. If you look at these posts, be mindful of that. This horse, the 1 and 1A are in the 6 and the 8 here. But speed to burn and toughest test in a while, but impossible for me to leave off and then use those class horses on the outside, 6, 7, and 8. They're all right there every week at this top level, and it's gonna be a very interesting race. I think this is a good race, especially for how things have been going here. This is one of your better opens in a while.
Yeah, I agree. This is probably the best open that they've had all season long, and looking at it, I think you can use a few horses here. The 6, 7, 8 are all obvious. They were handicapped outside. Who 9 coming off a huge win in 150 and 4, but has missed 4 weeks of action, or 3 weeks of action, 3.5 weeks, whatever it is. So that is a little concerning. Outside of that, most of these have not really raced often. A horse that I do like that actually put in kind of a training mile in between starts, the 4, Top Notch. He raced against this. He was 3rd off of a terrible trip on July 7th in the Open. He just sat in the back. He come flying late. He had no chance to win that race. Now he's got the qualifier in. Huge qualifier, by the way. Home in 26 and 2.
Two horse field, but yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, he finished the mile in 26 and a piece.
Yeah, it is good. I'm just saying it's two horses.
I think he's ready for a win. He's got some recency in going a fast mile over a couple other ones here, over his biggest competitors, I should say. So I like the spot. I'm going to throw him on my ticket, but also using 6, 7, and 8. So I'm going 4, 6, 7, 8 there. Race number 8, $4,000 to $5,000 claimers, field of 9. Loving these full fields, by the way. For me here, I thought this race was either a dead chalk in Luke's Cowboy or anybody. Luke's Cowboy's been extremely tough to beat. He's razor sharp off of 4 straight wins. He's hard to try to play against, but at the same time, I think you have to play against him if you want the jackpot. So he's between the horse in the front leg and this horse. It's a Mark's World and Luke's Cowboy. You got to try to beat one or both of them if you want this jackpot. So obviously he's a must-use with his current form, but I'm also going to use the 8. My skills pay the bills. Hasn't raced this year. Second start or first start of the year for him. He just tends to make money late in the year. He's kind of a latecomer coming back, but we know he's definitely fast enough. He's the fastest horse in this race. He just got to be ready. I think that's all it is with him. And then another one I think has a little bit of a chance. Didn't race very well last week. The 5, Just Be Talking. He gets back into the claimer. He was third at this level, 2 starts back, and he kind of got used and abused early in that race, trying to secure his rail position. I don't see him firing hard like that in here. He should work out a decent trip, and if he does, he's got a big shot. And then the 6, Sonalta Diesel. Last week, I used this horse, and things just didn't work out for him. Zacharias Honor made the front, walked around the racetrack, and just crushed him. I think he's going to get the jump on a few others tomorrow in this race, and he's going to be the right price. So I'm going to go 5, 6, 8, and 9 in this leg.
I like 3 of those. A few things to note, like on Luke's Cowboy. So, look, the last time he raced was July 11th. Now he gets an outside post. He had perfect posts and, was dominating some of those races. This is a different bunch here. You got a fuller field. Yeah, he's going to blast, but this is probably going to be the toughest test in a while, and he's been sitting for a couple weeks. So there's something to consider there. The 8 I'm using, but, and like Rod said, fastest horse in a race, but last year, this horse's last race in September was Minnesota Breds for a 20,000 stakes race. This horse wasn't offered for a tag. Now we're in for 7,500 coming off of that in a winning qualifier. I don't really like that. I just, the fact that the horse is in for a tag, I guess they couldn't find a better spot, or they think no one's going to claim this horse. I mean,
Well, I think he's got some issues. That's his thing.
Yeah, I mean, but he's only 5, so. And he's proven that he's fast.
Oh yeah.
So again, that's a little bit disturbing. I do really like the 6 Sonalta Diesel in the race. Merchant Barn going extremely well right now. He's winning with a lot of horses. This horse had absolutely no chance in that race on July 25th. Whenever you said the front end was good that day for starters, and the winner walked on the front. This horse still kicked home 28-4. 0 for 14 this year, but won 5 times last year. I like the driver switch. He's driven this horse before. I really think the barn's going extremely well, and this horse is a must-use. So I was 6, 8, 9.
Final leg. This is the non-winners at 875 last 4. So when you're looking at this race, who'd they ride in? This is normally a non-winners at 850. Musician they rode in, who drew the 9 hole. Unfortunate for him that he doesn't like to win either. But full field of 9 here. Mike, close us out.
Just too deep to finish, and I think it's. Well, I have a price and one obvious horse. I mean, the 5 is very obvious. He grins again. This horse drops out of those 6 and 7, non-winners races into this race, and isn't racing horrible in those races. Was beat less than 4 lengths last time. Was beat less than 3 lengths. Two back against horses that are much better. Birth of a Nation, Pedigree Blue Chip, In for the Chase, four back. Those are better horses. And this horse is faster than these horses, and he needs to be used off any kind of trip. He's going to be tough. He's going to be favored. So the horse I would use that probably would pay the jackpot if you were interested would be the two Gravels in My Travel, who had an interference break last time, went 4-1 at this level. So just completely pitch that race out. Now draws better. His third time back. Has capabilities to kick in late races. If you look back on March 27th, there's a 26-3 kicker at Cal Expo. This horse has a 53-2 mark here last year, and I think that off those last couple lines, that he's going to go ignored in most races. That last line is a total toss. This horse is fast enough to win this off a trip. I like the driver, I like the post, and he would be the one to take down the jackpot. So I would be 2-5.
I, on the other hand, before you said that, am singling Gravels in My Travel.
Oh wow! Okay, you see what I see then.
Yeah, I love this horse. He's a gritty horse. He does have issues, but this is a soft spot. The horses, the main contenders, just don't like to win, and I really think this is his race to lose. If he loses, then I'm going to start rethinking my strategy with this horse. But right now, to me, he should not lose this race. I'm all over him. Love Gravels in My Travel to close out this Pick 5 sequence and close out this show. But we'll be back next Saturday. Make sure you go to NAHUpicks.com. Check out all the free analysis that we have over there. Tonight we've got Meadowlands, Mohawk, Hawthorne. Tomorrow we've got all those tracks, plus Running Aces, plus Hanover.
Yeah, right. So 5 tracks tomorrow. Big show next Saturday. We're going to be on for a long time. So pop in and out. Check us out. Handicapping contest. Lots of interviews. Our usual Hambo day, we would normally be there. The last couple of years we were there, it was a blast.
We're having the COVID version.
But we'll see what we can bring for you.
It's the COVID version of our Hambletonian broadcast. You guys always tune into the Hambo broadcast. You share it like crazy. And, we've averaged somewhere around 4,500 viewers for our Hambletonian show. So let's keep that up next week for the COVID version. Share the crap out of it. We'll see you all next Saturday at 1 Eastern Time. Until then, he's Mike Probosi. I'm Rod Elms Jr.